This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Good morning. With Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire, I'm Chuck Heinz. Not going so well for the Texas Rangers. The pitching performance yesterday was pretty good. I mean, they gave up 6 hits. Unfortunately, Jamie, 3 of those were home runs by Kansas City. They were really... I mean, you look at the starting pitcher, Michael Wacha. He went 6 innings yesterday. Gave up 2 hits, a run. It was earned. Walked 2, struck out 5. Oh, that was the Royals pitcher. I'm sorry. Hang on a second. I knew that didn't sound right. The guy that they were really, Bruce Bochy was really happy with was Jacob Latz. He went 5 2/3, and he was asked after the ball game if, he got what he needed out of him, and he's like, yeah, he pitched terrific. The problem with Latz yesterday was, he gave up a home run, but so did the starter. He gave up a home run, and then
the problem didn't have anything to do with the pitching.
No, and it was all about the hitting. Yeah, and what I was going is that Bochy was talking about how they weren't getting any home runs. He goes, we're not getting any home runs. We're not hitting the ball out of the ballpark like they need to. And the other thing is they're not getting any walks. He talked about that, not getting any guys on base. So kind of feel like that they're not really battling at the plate, Jamie.
Okay.
Eric Nadel and Matt Hicks were talking about the thing too that was crazy for Latz was he didn't have any strikeouts, but he had 10 pitches that they swung and missed on. So they were keeping track of that stat.
Oh yeah, they keep track of that one.
But it was, and they were like astounded by the fact that there were 10 pitches where a batter swung and missed, and he had no strikeouts in 5 2/3 innings. So it continues to be an offensive problem for the Rangers. They got 1 run. They had 3 hits on the day, 3, and the guy that's just stinking it up for them more than there's a lot of them that are stinking it up, but Corey Seager's just having a not very good stretch here.
Yeah, only 239 on the season. I mean, just look at those batting averages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, 254, 274. Those were guys near the top, but 240, 239, 226, 229, 147, 220, 250. That's Josh, and 222.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to win games with those kind of batting averages unless you're hitting the ball out of the ballpark a bunch.
Which they're not. Josh was 0 for 3 yesterday. Jacob Heim was 0 for 3. I mean, Seager's 0 for 4. Simeon had the 1 hit and had the 1 RBI on the day. Didn't strike out a great number of times. I mean, Wyatt Langford struck out 3 of the 7 times on the day. And there was 4 other guys that struck out once. So, but only got 2 walks in the ball game too. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you can credit the other team's pitching for that. Or you can say maybe you guys weren't patient enough or weren't battling enough. So it all kind of leads to, what are you going to do? Mm-hmm. How do you get some offense? Do you have to go buy some, trade for some, shake it up a little bit? And then
I don't think you could buy it. I think it's not free agency period.
No, I understand that. But, that's kind of what I meant was, go trade for it.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to, unless you're going to become sellers, I think you've got to make a move to add offense somehow.
Where are you going to put them? Which position are you going to pull for guys that you have seen them be able to hit and have just been unable to do that? That's where the problem. It's not just they need to go get a hitter. It's
I think the DH spot, the first base spot with Jake Berger, either one of those would be what I would go with. I mean, you're not giving up on Carter or Langford in the outfield, no question. I don't think you're giving up on Young. You can't afford to with your middle infield.
And, what about Adolis Garcia?
Yeah, he's the one that I question a little bit. What his contract status is, but
man, it's anemic. It's anemic, especially like you said when you're getting the pitching that you're getting.
I mean, something to think about.
You got to keep the ball in the ballpark, though, too.
Choice and I talked about this yesterday. Josh has 8 hits this month. This month, he has 8 hits.
Why are we singling him out? He's at least at 250.
Right. He was almost 300 before the month started. Like, that's... they just got to start hitting. These guys are capable of. These guys are guys you have seen be productive. On paper, this was one of the best lineups in baseball at the beginning of the year. And they have just hit a brick wall and fallen flat on their face this year. I don't know if it's hitting coach. I don't know if it's manager. I don't know if
what do you replace the hitting coach?
I don't know if it's the hitting coach. I don't know if it's the manager. I don't know if it's everybody just in a funk and can't get out of it.
What about their new offensive coordinator?
I don't know if it's the new offensive coordinator. I don't know if it's just that everybody's pressing because they know how bad it is and they know how good they should be.
No, that could be the bingo right there, the pressing aspect of it. It could be the players, too, themselves.
But it is an entire clubhouse of guys that aren't hitting.
Well, you're getting ready to face a team in Pittsburgh.
You just faced a team that was also bad.
Right, but
and you got swept.
The difference though is that was a team that was expected to contend for its division that's underperforming. So you had 2 underperforming teams that played against each other from an offensive standpoint, because the offensive numbers on Kansas City aren't impressive. But they
look
more
impressive enough the past 3 days.
I know. They were,
yeah, but they didn't score a bunch of runs.
Yeah, they were more impressive, but I mean,
even yesterday they only scored 4.
Yeah.
I think that was their highest run total of the series, wasn't it?
6. They scored 6.
Yeah, that's right. There was a 6 in there.
But still, I mean, it's not like they're beating you down, 13-2 or something like that. No. They won 6-3 on Wednesday, and the Royals won 6-1 on Tuesday.
Okay.
It's just the number of hits. You can't get anybody on base. Can't get anybody to come around and score.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Time for this day in sports history. Today is June the 20th, 2025. Here's Jeff McGuire with this day in sports history.
Going to start in 1936. American sprinter Jesse Owens sets a 100-meter world record time of 10.2.
Wow.
1967. Phillies' Larry Jackson beats the New York Mets for the 18th straight time.
Whoa.
I bet the Mets feel about Larry Jackson like I feel about Kansas State. 1984. Oakland A's Dave Kingman hits his 3rd Grand Slam of the season and 14th of his career. 1993, Jamie Lent was a very happy kid. Or I guess a guy at this point. NBA Finals, Chicago Bulls become the first team since the legendary Boston Celtics of the 60s to win 3 consecutive titles, winning 99-98 in Game 6 over the Phoenix Suns. Michael Jordan, of course, was your MVP for the 3rd straight year.
Mm-hmm.
John Paxson with a huge shot. That wouldn't have happened if what happened, Jeff?
Somebody played a little defense?
If Charles Barkley hadn't have gambled on defense. For any of you that like to say Charles Barkley deserves a championship, well, if he'd have played better defense on that play and not gone for the steal at half court, Paxson wouldn't have gotten a wide open 3, and Phoenix probably would have won the game and forced a Game 7. Play some D there, Chuck.
He's trying to be a hero.
He was, and man, I love me some Johnny Paxson.
And in 2017, former Red Raider Daniel Coulombe enters the game for the A's in the 7th and gets a 1-2-3 inning with a strikeout and an 8-4 loss to the Houston Astros. It is National Ice Cream Soda Day.
Soda. I always hated it when I had to make the ice cream sodas. I just never really got the...
How is it different than a Coke float?
It seemed like there was a mixture. There was like a fizz. There's like a fizz that goes in it,
It's carbonated water.
Yeah, carbonated water. Thank you.
Which is...
Right, but it's just carbonated water.
But no flavoring.
Yeah, right. It just seemed odd. It always seemed odd to me.
Why did we hate it?
I just didn't.
I mean, you put the ice cream in, you put the soda in. I mean, like, that doesn't seem that difficult.
Doesn't seem hard, but it could have been.
I know, but
like,
it just
I'm sure
seemed...
there were more challenges for you there at the however many flavors that more challenging than that.
Yeah, getting the daiquiri ice cream scooped on a cone was sometimes challenging to get it.
Yeah, I mean, like the hard ice cream that is sometimes nearly impossible to scoop.
Absolutely.
Like, I could have understood you saying I hated doing that.
The pralines and cream, I hated scooping that.
Putting ice cream in and then pouring some soda on top, that's what you hated?
It didn't make any sense to me. It's like, why would you buy that? But,
Because they like it. It's also Vanilla Milkshake Day.
I knew you were going to get to this one. Yeah. I looked at it. I got it. I get it this day in history sent to my email. I looked at it last. I don't look at it every day. I looked at it last night because I was working a little bit late last night, and I saw vanilla milkshake, and I thought Jeff will get to that, and because Jamie loves himself a vanilla milkshake.
I actually prefer strawberry milkshakes to vanilla, but I if I'm gonna have a milkshake, that'd be
one of them.
My second choice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I knew you liked them.
Yeah, I knew there would be some sort of jab at Jamie when vanilla was brought up.
No, there's no jab. No jab.
Happy birthday, Robert Johnson, 43 today.
The Robert Johnson?
The Robert Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Texas A&M killer?
That's the one.
All right.
Tomorrow, Chuck is got a
failed the Red Raider quarterback, Robert Johnson.
That one, yeah. Tomorrow, I heard Chuck's got a big party going on.
Why is that?
Kevin Harlan turned 65.
Is it another boys only party? No girls allowed.
I like Harlan. There was times when I wasn't the biggest fan of Harlan.
Also tomorrow, every Red Raider fan should go punch their favorite Jayhawk in the mouth because Dwayne Slate's birthday's tomorrow.
No, Wildcat.
Yes, surely you should know that.
Yeah.
It's against K-State.
Back to today's birthdays: Nicole Kidman, 58; Lionel Richie, 76; and John Goodman, 73. I forgot one. Carlos Lee is 49 today, former Houston Astro. And on this day, 1947, doesn't pay to be in Vegas, or
Bugsy Siegel
in charge of Vegas at the time. Benjamin Bugsy Siegel, the man who brought the organized crime to the Midwest, to the West Coast, is shot and killed at his mistress's Virginia Hills home in Beverly Hills, California. He had been talking to an associate, Alan Smiley, when 3 bullets were fired through the window and into his head, killing him instantaneously.
Bet he wasn't Smiley anymore.
And that is this day in sports history.
All right, Bugsy Siegel, dead on this day.
Still dead.
And he's the guy that brought the Flamingo to Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Flamingo in Vegas?
Yeah, the Flamingo Hotel. That's the big one that you see. One of the big ones that you see. Now it's like a small one compared to everything else. So just so you know, so you said on this day, Jesse Owen, in 1936, ran the 100 meters in 10.2 seconds. Do you know what the world record is for the 100 meters right now? The standing world record?
9.6, 9.5?
9.58. 9.58. So, and that was in 2009. So you think about that. 73 years later, I think that math works out. It only went down 0.62 seconds.
There's I found it. It might have been a year ago when I found it. There's a video where it's got all three. They've got Jesse Owens, Carl Lewis, and Usain Bolt. Like if they'd raced each other at their world record speed, what it would look like. And it is, while it's only half a second, that's a huge gap for the 100.
Okay.
I mean, it's huge. You said you kind of wonder if Jesse's even running. You know
Really?
he is, but compared to the other two,
Okay.
it's night and day for how fast it is.
Okay. So the 0.62 is
A lot.
a lot. Okay. All right. It doesn't seem like much.
Doesn't, but it is.
But it is.
Especially in this race.
Okay. All right. Some things here
If I
from
can find it again, I'll post it on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. It's a really interesting video.
some things here from the Yates Flooring Center chat line we had not gotten to. Let's see. Good morning, gents. Have a great day and fantastic weekend. Oh, funtastic weekend. That from Centex Inc. Thank you. Okay. Good morning from the lake. Oklahoma City did not play well last night, but Pacers did, hoping Thunder win Game 7. Okay. Let's see. Somebody wanting to know how I have Hall of Fame votes. Well, because I'm a member of the National Football Foundation.
Because he's a Hall of Famer.
Because I wrote a check and I get to vote. Okay. I mean, it wasn't even much of a check. And you can too. It's like for not very much money, you can be a part of that. I need to fact check, but Josh Heupel apparently did not win the Heisman Trophy.
He didn't?
So I sure thought
I was the one that said it.
Yeah, but I was right there with you because I thought the same thing.
Or I'm thinking of the white guy. Who was the quarterback that was named White? Jason White.
Jason White.
That's who I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he was a Walter Camp winner, college football, AP College Football Player of the Year, Archie Griffin Award winner, Big 12 Offensive Newcomer of the Year, first team All Big 12 in 2000.
Heupel was the runner-up in 2000, so that's my bad.
No,
that was on me.
Behind Chris Winkie. And then this person says, Robert Johnson was one of my favorite Tech receivers. Okay, well, good. Yeah, he was a good one. No question about it.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
We get this from the Yates Flooring Center chat line off the Double T 97.3 mobile app presented by Happy State Bank. Going to the Rangers-Pirates game tomorrow night. Can I take a swipe at a Pirates fan? That's pretty cool.
I mean, again, if they say anything bad about Josh Young.
Yeah. I'm just curious if you're a Pittsburgher. If you're a Pittsburgher or if you're a, Lubbockite or just a Texan that happens to be in Pittsburgh on business. So
that'd be a fun trip to go watch your
yes.
baseball team play.
Yes.
That looks like a really, really gorgeous ballpark.
I agree. I think that'd be a cool place to.
Don't fall out of right field, though. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, just make sure.
Stay in your seat.
Be
safe.
Stay in your seat.
Get home safe.
Okay. There's a couple of different articles that are written on this. The one in The Athletic seems to be a little bit more written for, just ease of understanding. There's also one on CBSSports.com that I saw last night. And I'm going to use the one from The Athletic. This is about the college football playoff because the genesis of the redo of this actually comes from the Big 12. So there was a lot of consensus that the SEC and the Big Ten were going to come together with kind of what the Big Ten wants to do with having 4 guaranteed slots for the Big Ten and the SEC, and so it wasn't done yet, but they wanted to have more automatic qualifiers. But the Big 12, apparently, Jamie, proposed a 16-team bracket with 11 at-large bids. So it's a 5-11 model. So you'd have the 5 conferences, 4 conferences plus the lower level one that would all have a guaranteed spot in the college football playoff, and then 11 at-large bids. It would still be driven by a committee. But then what they did was they put some different metrics to it. And I don't know what all the metrics were, but it focused on strength of schedule. Okay. And so one of the things that the Big 12 was concerned about was, hey, you got the SEC and the SEC playing with just eight conference games. And so how's that look if they've got 8 and they've got, the 4 little sisters of the poor, so to speak, and we're playing 9. and the Big Ten's playing 9, and the ACC and the SEC are playing 8 conference games. So that's when they went to look at that. The other thing that the CBS article pointed out was that the coaches kind of started, once they all had their meetings and got involved, they didn't necessarily like the Big Ten model. And so they started voicing their opinions back to their athletic directors. So this is somewhat coach-driven as well. So now you've got the SEC and the Big Ten that are kind of, they're not on the same page, and they can control moving forward, the 26 model moving forward of how it's going to be. And so now the thought is that once you get to 2026, that's going to be the model for the next 6 years, not just a one-off until they get to the next TV contract.
Okay.
So they want to get this done before the deadline to get this done is December 1 to let ESPN know what the 2026 model is going to be, if it's going to be 12 or it's going to be 16. They're not going to do anything different with the 2025 model, with what we have this coming up, the 12 teams and the automatic qualifiers, and then they're going to you'll be seeded according to your seed, not according to the fact that you won the Big 12 or the Big 10 or whatever. If you're not amongst the top 4, then you won't get the bye. So it's just interesting. The bottom line is the SEC and the Big 10 still can set the table, so to speak, but those two aren't on the same page right now. So the question I have for you is, do you like a model where you have the 5 guaranteed bids and then 11 at large, and whoever those next best 11 are, those are the ones that get into a 16-team playoff?
Yes.
As opposed to 4 guaranteed from this and 4 guaranteed from that, and a couple
Correct.
here and a couple here, and however it goes down.
Mm-hmm.
Now the question is going to be is who feels like they have the upper hand on that, because obviously the Big Ten and the SEC are going to go, what's going to be best for us, because and it was thought that they were both on the same page until the Big 12 kind of threw a wrench in it, which good for Brett Yormark for doing that. Sure. If he's the guy that threw the wrench in it. So apparently the Big 12 and the ACC have pushed back on the plan to reserve 2 playoff spots each for them and 4 each for the Big 10 and the SEC. Sure, that's a no-brainer, right? The SEC had 3 teams in the college football playoff last year, with Alabama, Mississippi, and South Carolina, all just on the outside in the selection committee's final ranking. So we'll see. We'll see what they do. I think the other thing is that should all these conferences play 9 games, because the SEC is pushing back on that as well. They're rethinking that of whether they should do that. It feels like that everybody in the Power 4 conferences should all play 9 conference games or play 8.
Yeah, it'd make it equal. Yeah.
And then if you're going to do, let's just say the Big 12 and the ACC, or the Big 12 and the Big 12 and the Big 10 move back to 8 games, 8 conference games. I would hate that.
I would not be in favor of that.
I'm with you. Because there's no guarantees that you're not going to get
like
slippery rock again.
Yeah, it's similar to what we're doing in Big 12 men's basketball.
And heck, this year too. I mean, with who you're playing, Arkansas, Pine Bluff, and Kent State. I mean, let's face it. You could go get a fraternity team out there and suit them up, and win.
You always find a way to seem to take it a little bit too far. Those teams are not good, no question. Mm-hmm. But I don't think, 11 frat boys are going to be as good as them.
Probably right.
I mean, they would tear up their penny loafers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, their
polos,
khaki shorts might get wrinkled.
Get grass stained a little bit, although it's an artificial field.
Their polo would maybe get torn up. You might break those glasses with the strap around them. They'd have to have a football in their hand instead of a Coors Light or whatever. I mean, that's
right.
It's a tough deal.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't think our local fraternity is going to give as good of a challenge as Kent State is.
Okay.
Right? That's just my vote.
The college football playoff executive director Rich Clark said, "I wouldn't say there's a leading contender right now, but they're taking a good look and a fresh look at it with regard to the playoff." The CFP Management Committee is composed of 10 FBS conference commissioners plus Notre Dame's athletic director. They've been meeting in North Carolina, and so they basically now the direction of the playoff is for a format for 2026 through 2031. Clark said there could be a format a lot different, or it may be the same. I sure hope they get to 16 teams. That, however you get to it, I hope they get to 16 teams.
Yes, I completely agree.
You know, and in the Big Ten, like I said, it hit the roadblock when the Big 12 said, well, why don't we do 11 at-large bids? And that way the best 11 outside of the conference champions get in. And I'm sure the SEC probably bowed up and said, their ego probably got to them and go, well, hell, we got 5 teams that are better outside of our conference champion than the Big 10 or the Big 12 or the ACC. I mean, it greed, right?
Sure. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's greed. And the Big 10 is fearful. They're fearful of the SEC and the Big 12 and the ACC, thinking, well, if we don't guarantee 4, we're not sure that we could get 4 in that model.
Yeah.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3, presented today by someone not named Jamie, is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, guys. Talking a little Big 12 football here. And I don't know if you guys remember the Big 12 preseason poll last year, but Utah was picked first.
Okay.
Arizona State was picked last.
Yeah, it kind of flip-flopped, didn't it?
That is not how it ended, if you need a refresher. Arizona State, top of the league. Utah, not quite the bottom, but they could see it from there.
Right.
I mean, you still had Oklahoma State at the bottom, which was also shocking in itself, as they did not win a game. Big 12 Media Days coming up in 3 weeks, I think?
Yeah.
So we will be getting a Big 12.
Right after the 4th of July.
We will be getting a Big 12 preseason poll shortly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking you to look into your crystal ball and tell me the most shocking thing you think will happen could happen in 2025. In the vein of Utah being picked first, Arizona State being picked last, and they flip. So kind of a bold statement, but we're not going to be keeping track of this. But what's the shock, for what we know now, looking forward to the Big 12, what is the most shocking thing you think you could think of?
For like the Big 12 media poll, or for the end of the season?
End of the season for the Big 12.
Oh, okay.
Keeping in mind of the Big 12 preseason poll. Well, you guys think, because I've obviously had a minute to think about this.
I got a couple thoughts, but go ahead.
The most shocking thing I can think of right now, and this seems crazy considering they finished in a tie for first last year, but Colorado finishing better than they did last year with all the talent that they lost. I cannot imagine losing Shadir and a Heisman Trophy candidate and them winning the Big 12 this year. That is so far out of the realm of possibility for me. Not that they can't replace that talent, but that level of what's the word I'm looking for here? Of exodus from talent, that can't be made up that quickly.
Okay, so my first initial thought also involved Colorado. My thought was Colorado goes from being one of the top 4 teams in the Big 12 Conference to being one of the worst 4 teams in the Big 12 Conference.
See, I can see that happening with what's happened to them. And we also don't know what the Big 12 season.
Well, I'm trying to predict something that I think is a possibility, right?
Well, the thing that would shock me is if Oklahoma State played in the Big 12 championship game.
Oh goodness, yes.
That's a great one for where my head's at.
I mean,
I would even think top half of the Big 12 would be a big surprise.
And then the other one, and then you're just gonna if you if you were God and had the ability to strike me down with lightning, this is what you would prepare now, is if Texas Tech went 0-9 in the Big 12. That would shock me.
I don't think God would have to strike you down. I think a Red Raider fan would do that for you. All of us.
I would guess that I would tell you each and every year, I would be shocked if anybody goes 0-9.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Again, if I'm trying to predict something that I think is a possibility of it happening, like a bold statement.
I mean, I'd be surprised if Houston were in the top 4 going along those lines. I don't think that's possible. Because I'm not going to be shocked if you're in the top 2. If
Nope.
Texas Tech's in the top 2, I'm not going to be shocked by that.
Why would you be?
Yeah. I might be shocked if Baylor finished ahead of Texas Tech in the Big 12 standings.
Shocked?
Shocked, maybe surprised, maybe. Shocked would be probably is too strong a word, because both teams were 6-3 last year.
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, I wouldn't predict it, but I wouldn't say I would be shocked.
I think I would be shocked.
I expect Baylor to be a top 5 team in the Big 12.
I think I'd be shocked if K-State only won 5 Big 12 games next year, given what they have coming back. They were 5-4 last year.
Yeah.
I think I'd be shocked if Cincinnati flipped it and went from 3-6 to 6-3. I'm with Jeff. I mean, and I'm with Jamie too. I think Colorado's going to be a bottom 4 as opposed to tied with the best record in the Big 12 at 7-2.
I'm not sure I would predict that. I would predict them to drop back. I don't know that I would predict a bottom 4. That was a bold statement. Yeah, for me. Arizona turning things around because it looks like they are heading straight into the tank right now. Them turning things around and being, I don't know, top 6 in the Big 12. I mean, they were 2-7. That would be a big surprise to me.
This is
West Virginia winning the conference.
Yeah.
With their new coach.
Sure.
And from all things that we're kind of hearing, the recruiting trail not going great, right? They're just been kind of stagnant from what I've heard.
The thing, this is going to sound like a stupid statement, but
on this show, I doubt it.
Yeah, I mean, we reach new heights every day.
Or lows, in the case may be.
I wonder in Tucson how important football really is to them. I know financially it's extremely important to them, but it's like, do they put men's basketball and baseball as things that endear them more than feeling like that they could be competitive for a football championship?
I mean, obviously their fans have gotten to see a lot more success with the other 2 sports.
Mm-hmm. I mean, financially, obviously, I mean, we all know the answer to that. It's all about football, but it just kind of feels like that with the directions that they've gone. It's like, okay, hey, if we're 6-6, we're okay.
I think they're trying in football.
I'm
think
sure
it
they
just
are.
Went bad.
I think they're trying. I'm sure they are.
I don't think they are like, hey, we're good with baseball and basketball being good.
I just wonder how important it is to them. I mean, it's like Houston. I mean, obviously the basketball is super duper important to them. Same thing with Cincinnati because of their
I would
pedigree.
say football is more important to all of them.
Yeah.
It's just some are better than other sports.
Yeah. I'm certain you're right on that. It just feels like sometimes that they're trying to, some schools are just trying to play football so that they can be good enough to keep their fans interested and fill the stadium as much as they can and, get on television and make a bowl game and just be competitive. And other schools are like full throttle up.
I guess some are more full throttle than others, I guess.
I mean, we're full throttle up right now.
I think you could say that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a fair statement.
That plane is...
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Putting on the Ritz. Is that putting on the Ritz in another language? Has a little putting on the Ritz to it, doesn't it?
In another language.
Yeah, putting on the Ritz, right?
Sure sounds like they're singing English to me. I mean, maybe it's just me.
And I was just saying, I heard Istanbul.
Right, that's a...
That's a what?
It's a foreign country, not a foreign word.
I know. It's a foreign country, but it's a foreign word because it's a foreign country.
It's the closest song I can think of to a history lesson with, Istanbul was Constantinople. And
my bad on Coastal Carolina. I was clearly I can't say I'd forgotten, because if you say you've forgotten something, then you knew it at some point in time. I thought that they had lost the College World Series, but they won it. Chuck just said Coastal Carolina has never won at all. Someone please show that man how the Google works so he can get his facts straight.
The Google.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just the closest I could get to having a history lesson, since we were talking about history at the end of the last segment.
Sure.
I thought it would be funny.
Sure. And I kind of blew that for you.
I like the Google.
The Google. Show me how the Google works. I'm aware. I know how the Google works. So you got to use the Google to. I just again, for some reason I thought they had lost that series, but they didn't, and kind of dismissed that from my brain.
Yeah, they knocked the Red Raiders out.
Yeah, unfortunately,
because of some bad defense for Texas Tech in that game.
So are you rooting for the Chanticleers, or are you rooting for the Tigers? I think I've asked you this, and kind of flip-flop around.
I'm rooting for Coastal Carolina.
Okay. Because when LSU played Arkansas, you were rooting for LSU because you didn't like Arkansas. And now it's more about rooting against the SEC?
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fine. It's fine. I get all that. Yeah, there's no problem with that. Good morning. It is the Morning Drive here on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com. We come to you from the First United Bank studio. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line, Visual Edge IT hotline. If you have big doings this weekend and you want to share or overshare, if you're going on vacay and you're headed to somewhere exotic or maybe even not so exotic, hit us up. I'm curious as to where you're going. So if you have some place that you're going that you're like, hey, we're going to our so-and-so, or maybe you're just going to Tahoka for the weekend.
Going to where?
Going to so-and-so.
Istanbul?
It could be going, if anybody's going to Istanbul, I want to meet you today, okay? If you're going to the airport and go, your final destination, sure, would you like your bags? Istanbul. Really? Okay. Istanbul. Mm-hmm. Istanbul. Okay. Istanbul. Jeff, a little Johnny Horton, the Battle of New Orleans is a good history lesson. I think we've played that before.
Many times.
Yeah.
Usually around the date of the Battle of New Orleans.
Which is what day?
Off the top of my head, I don't know.
Oh, my God. The 1%ers failing us.
I'm failing us. Okay.
Just one.
I will try to be better.
Just one little.
Jeff. We appreciate.
I will do my best.
One little facet of that. One little facet of that. So, again, if you have and maybe you're coming off vacation. There's some people that are coming off vacation.
Some people may have already mailed that stamp in for the day too.
Are you accusing me of that?
I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I'm just saying they may have already licked that stamp, put that envelope in, and mailing it in for the day. It is a Friday during the summer.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not long for today. I'll just tell you that. We'll have Ranger Baseball on the air for you tonight to take on the Pittsburgh Pirates in Pittsburgh. And that's at 5 o'clock this evening. The Angels and the Astros will play tonight at 8:35. As far as the Rangers are concerned, this is probably as good a team as they could play to maybe get right.
Yeah, I don't know that it's about the opponent right now. It's about the Rangers.
Yeah, it's about your hitters.
Mm-hmm.
It's about your hitters. It's about, either be patient and take walks, or, be more aggressive at the plate, or be more, fight for your at bat a little bit.
It comes down to finding ways to score points.
And runs.
Or runs, as they like to say in baseball. Yeah. The Rangers need to score more points.
They do. There's no question about it. They need to score more runs, Jamie.
Yes.
So
They need to work on that hitting percentage.
yes, all those. Wow, it's like a two-front war right now. The Angels and the Astros will play at the Big A tonight. I have not said that yet today.
What's the war?
Oh, battle.
I mean, I'm just saying that the Rangers need to score more.
They do need to score more.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. That wasn't a shot at you.
Okay. Well, you said the points, so I think probably I'd said points before.
No, I don't think so.
At some point.
Okay, well, maybe you did.
Maybe so.
Just tattled on yourself.
Maybe so at some point in time. Let's see here. With regard to keeping fans interested in Arizona, with our question of the day, somebody off the chat line said Chuck just described the Dallas Cowboys do enough to keep the fans interested and just collect the money. That seems to be the case for the Cowboys. I don't know if that's the case for the Big 12 schools. I think right now plenty of people are interested in what's going on with Texas Tech football. Goodness, I mean, we're getting close to. Because really, once you get to the 4th of July, it feels like it's football season. And with Big 12 Media Days right after the 4th of July, 4th is on a Friday this year. Big 12 Media Day starts the next week. And then it's game on to August the 30th and your first football game and getting things going. And even though you have a patsy opponent, it'll be a fever pitch.
Yeah, I wish I could feel the same way that you do when July 4th hits. I don't feel like it's football season. I want it to be there, but it's still another month and a half
I got you.
Of wanting football to be here. It's more talking about football, but it's not football season.
No,
I'm a bigger fan of the games.
No, I got you. I'm right there with you. It's just it feels like it's.
But there gets more talk. Yes.
Yeah, it just feels like the snowball starts to form at that point in time, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger as we get to the start of the season, and the first couple of weeks are. Go to the stadium, just kind of stretch out, yawn a little bit, and get used to the people that are sitting next to you this year. See the familiar ones that are there from previous years. Reacquaint yourself with your usual seat.
Would you like to post your seat location on the chat line so people know that they can get close to you, and that they can be mentioned as Morning Drive listeners that sit next to Chuck?
It's not organic if I do it like that. I mean,
you should let people know.
Oh, they know. A lot of people know where I sit.
Well, tell us.
I will. On the concourse on the east side, right in the middle, about 45-yard.
What's the seat number?
I don't know
What's the row?
I don't know what the row is.
What section?
It's section 19.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.